This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans from around the corner and around the world, welcome to Boston Wrestling Sports Wrestling Insider Series. I'm Dan Marotti here at MWF Studios, just north of Boston in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. Let's check out the January 18th, 2016 edition of WWE Monday Night Raw, emanating from Columbus, Ohio. As with every Martin Luther King Day, WWE produces an exceptional video package on the late Dr. King. Raw had its predictable in-ring promo to open the show. WWE World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns said he's ready to be the first person to successfully defend the championship in a Royal Rumble match. But tonight on Raw, he was focused on Brock Lesnar. That led to Chris Jericho making his way out. Reigns said that he was happy Jericho was back, but he was not Lesnar. Jericho said he wanted to have Reigns join Lesnar on his highlight reel program later on. From there, the League of Nations made their way out to dead silence, as nothing has been done to build up this faction to the point where any fans have any real interest in them. Sheamus and Jericho traded bad comedy over why the League isn't on the highlight reel. Roman was joyful and happy out there, which is why this version of Roman Reigns doesn't get over as strong as the intense Roman Reigns. Jericho wound up booking Reigns versus Rusev on the spot with him as the referee. Lacking so much common sense, it isn't even funny, but it is what it is. During the commercial break, Jericho hustled Mike Chioda's referee shirt. This was a solid match. I've always liked the chemistry between Reigns and Rusev. Set up a great spot where Rusev climbed to the middle rope to give Reigns a Samoan drop. Reigns powered out of that, then hit a sit-down powerbomb into the middle of the ring. League started interfering at ringside. Jericho tossed them out one by one, doing cartwheels and other shenanigans. As Rusev started to stalk Jericho from behind, Reigns hit a Superman punch and a spear for the win right around 9:35. Pretty good start to Raw, at least the opening contest. Backstage, Stephanie McMahon threatened Jericho for making himself the guest referee for the Reigns and Rusev match and changing the advertised highlight reel. If only that could be a real shoot week in and week out, right? Back in the ring, it was time for some fake-looking Divas wrestling to promote the Total Divas return tonight on the E! Network. This was real quick, as Natalya, accompanied by Paige, I thought these two were in the middle of a feud not too long ago, defeated Brie Bella with the sharpshooter. This was much better than most matches you'd see Brie involved in, a tip of the cap to Miss Neidhart. The Wyatt family defeated the Dudley Boys and Ryback in six-man tag team action. It feels like the Dudleys and the Wyatts have squared off every week for the past 2 months. Dudleys continue to look slow in there. I don't know if it's because the Dudleys competed in TNA for so long in a much smaller ring or what the story is. Ryback clotheslined Bray out of the ring. He followed him out, only to confront Braun Strowman. In the ring, Harper hit a discus clothesline on Bubba for the win. Wyatts continue to be built up headed into the Rumble. Big Show defeated Heath Slater of the Social Outcast faction in short order with a knockout punch. Then he laid out the other three, Michael McGillicuddy, Adam Rose, and Bo Dallas, one by one. Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon came out to draw the number one entrant into the Royal Rumble match on Sunday, and it was Roman Reigns whose name they drew out of the container over and over again. So it looks like it's going to be a long night for the champion in Orlando. Becky Lynch defeated Tamina with the disarmor and then challenged Charlotte, who was sitting at ringside with her father, the Nature Boy, after the matchup. Becky Lynch wanted a title match at the Rumble. Charlotte said no, that Lynch already received a championship match, but then Lynch started tearing into the Nature Boy, saying his daughter was a coward, and Rick accepted for Charlotte. She was none too pleased by that. Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio defeated Kalisto and Dean Ambrose. Fans started off dead silent, but picked up steam towards the finish of this one. Kevin Owens was on commentary during the match, distracting Ambrose at time as they square off Sunday night. Del Rio hit a running Enziguri to take Ambrose out of the matchup. Then Sheamus hit a giant bro kick on the little Kalisto to pick up the win for the League of Nations. Up next was the funeral for New Day's trombone. Overdose on stupid. You don't want to go in that direction too often with a trio that's so super over and adding nonsense to their routine. There's a fine line, and you don't want to cross it. People like the trombone, but it didn't need a name, and it didn't need a funeral. After a great package on the history of the Royal Rumble match itself, Big E hit the big ending for the victory on Jey Uso. Another solid two-segment match. The Usos and New Day go at it for the tag team titles Sunday at the Royal Rumble. Really looking forward to that one. Whether it's singles matches or tag team matches, New Day and the Usos continue to deliver every time they put on television. In another complete waste of time, Neville, Mark Henry, Titus O'Neil, and R-Truth defeated the Ascension, Stardust, and Tyler Breeze. If this match, as well as the lineup competing in the 30-man Rumble Sunday, doesn't expose how weak and paper-thin the active WWE roster is right now, I don't know what will. WWE is desperate for heels right now, and then you have a newcomer like Tyler Breeze tossed around like a ping pong by Mark Henry and Titus O'Neil. The fans couldn't give a shit less about. I know in theory, in the fans' minds, Henry and Titus O'Neil are bigger guys who should have a legitimate shot at winning the Rumble on Sunday, even though they won't because they don't have any credibility with the fans. Not to say that Tyler Breeze should be a favorite to win the Rumble, but he's new. WWE needs to push good heels. They pushed Breeze at Survivor Series, which I believe was his first pay-per-view over Dolph Ziggler, and they just give up on him that quick. That's real disappointing. In the main event segment, Chris Jericho said that himself, Reigns, and Lesnar were the three favorites to win the Rumble Sunday night. Paul Heyman came out and confronted Jericho in a great verbal duel that showed a more serious side of Jericho. I like this an awful lot. Jericho asked Heyman what would happen if he eliminated Lesnar to become a 7-time world champion. There was surprisingly little reaction to that line from Jericho from the fans, which to me shows that Jericho is not over to the level of a true main eventer, at least in January 2016. Lesnar came out and circled the ring. Just as he was about to do his patented leap on the ring apron, Reigns' music hit, cut him off, and he came out through the crowd. One small thing I really loved and added to the segment was Jericho's in-ring positioning while standing somewhat next to Reigns with Lesnar circling around ringside. That is the sign of a true professional. When Lesnar finally got in the ring, Reigns speared the hell out of him like an animal. Not the jokester in segment 1. We're going back to the more intense Roman Reigns near 11 o'clock, and I like it. That's the Reigns that needs to be presented constantly. Jericho was long gone when the League of Nations came out and beat down Reigns. Lesnar made his comeback. He totally blew off Alberto Del Rio's attempt at offense. And you know what? It's the Royal Rumble go-home show on Raw. It's about building main eventers, not a mid-card act that's not over in the least trying to get a little shine in. After Lesnar clean house of the League of Nations, Reigns speared him a second time, just as intense as the first time, and the fans reacted, maybe a little confused. Excellent execution here. Then the lights went out and the Wyatts were in the ring. They took care of Reigns pretty quick. Lesnar tried to make a comeback, but he got Sister Abigail'd by Bray Wyatt as the show went off the air, making the Wyatts seem like that much more of a threat and a contender going into Sunday night. The crowd was dead for the majority of this 3-hour endeavor, but it was more good than bad. There's far less bad skits and behind-the-scenes nonsense going on over the past few weeks. It's more multi-segment wrestling matches that the fans can sink their teeth into and invest into. Looking at my notes, I don't think anyone of any importance that wasn't on the show this week wasn't, other than Kane and Ziggler. I can't think of anyone else. And I mean, if that doesn't tell you right now the state of the roster, I don't know what is when you look at this show from top to bottom. They can't afford another injury at this point. I expect Sunday's Royal Rumble to be an excellent show. Beyond Roman Reigns putting the WWE World Heavyweight Championship up for grabs in the Royal Rumble match itself, you have Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens going at it for the Intercontinental Championship in a last man standing match. These two always deliver. You know Owens really wants to put a main event type performance on in this one, where so much is made about his look and his weight. This is a professional wrestling match in where he should, in theory, be given the time to deliver with another excellent pro and Dean Ambrose. As I mentioned earlier, New Day will be defending the WWE Tag Team Championship against the Usos. I don't get tired of watching these two teams. I think that's a great thing. Their singles matches on TV are great. The six-mans they've been in are great. And I look forward to this 2-on-2 match. Which two members of the New Day will it be when they challenge the Usos in Orlando, Florida? Kalisto gets a rematch for the WWE United States Championship against Alberto Del Rio. Kalisto had a non-title win over Del Rio, then won the gold. Short reign. He lost it right back to Del Rio last week on SmackDown. Let's see if the little masked man can come away with another victory at the Rumble. And then for the Divas Championship, it'll be Charlotte with the WWE two-time Hall of Famer Nature Boy Ric Flair taking on her former friend Becky Lynch. These two have had good to solid matches up and down. I look forward to this one as well. It's more women's wrestling rather than divas wrestling. I talk about the roster being thin until I'm blue in the face, but I'll tell you this is a roster of athletes, men and women, that goes out and works very hard night in and night out. I'd be very surprised if the wrestling world isn't buzzing after the event is over Sunday night. And I'll throw out a little prediction. I talk to people near and far, and I'm told that the Fastlane pay-per-view in February is supposed to be a blockbuster one headed to WrestleMania. So I'll say this. I don't think the road to WrestleMania will be a straight line headed from the Royal Rumble to Dallas, Texas for WrestleMania 32. A lot of people expect Triple H to come back and win the championship. I think that's a great story to tell. I have some other ideas that I'm going to share in another video about what I think could and may happen, or may be better than what you may see happen. But I think you may see a couple of surprises Sunday night that you're really going to like, and I will leave it at that. We're very happy to announce that WrestleMania weekend will be in Dallas, Texas as part of WrestleCon at the iconic downtown Hyatt Regency Hotel, both April 1st and April 2nd. WWE Hall of Famer Cowboy Bob Orton is the first legend that will be joining us for autographs and pose photos. For complete information and pre-sale options, head on over to the BostonWrestling.com super site. It's going to be a great time in the Big D. Here in the Millennium Wrestling Federation, our work is never done as our support indie wrestling mission continues 24/7. There are many ways you can help the cause, including signing up for a free month of WWE Network. Click on the link below, enjoy upcoming pay-per-views, exclusive programs, and thousands of hours of on-demand content. At its $9.99 per month retail price, it's an outstanding value. Do your shopping with both Amazon.com and WWEshop.com right here, folks. You can use the links below, and we get a small kickback of any purchase you make on either website. And the best part is it does not increase your cost one single penny. It helps us bring you the most free content in professional wrestling while you shop for the products and memorabilia you want. Don't forget to get social with us. Visit BostonWrestling.com for the latest live event news and deals in the MWF store. You can like us at Facebook.com/MWF Action. Follow us on Twitter at MWF2001. And subscribe to our YouTube channel with over 900 videos absolutely free. All the links are below. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, be well.